Alrighty. Good morning, good afternoon. Hey Jimmy, how you doing? Hey Nav. Hey Jumarinas. We're streaming right across. It's all working. Alright, cool. We'll give it a minute and we'll get started. Hope you've all been doing well. We had a lot of movement, a lot of liquidity and volatility last night, so you've been trading well. I think sound and I think everything is working good. Okay, cool. Right, so if you are on the session, do drop a message and say hi. If you're new to the session, let us know where you're joining us from. And for all the regulars, a big welcome back. Thank you again for joining me on the session. Today is the 4th of July, so happy Independence Day to anyone in the US or even not in the US but celebrating the 4th of July. Happy Independence Day, happy 4th of July. I'm not doing too much. I'm still sitting in the office. I'm still looking at the charts. I'm still looking at how price is moving, creating content and all that. So if you are celebrating, have another drink on my behalf. Enjoy the fireworks. Enjoy your evening and your day and your evening. Hey Richard, how are you doing? Good morning. Hey Diana, good morning. Right, as we do this daily market analysis, I can tell you all, I have just finalized the idea and the plan where next week we're going to do something different with the daily market analysis. We're going to do something different with the analysis, with the live streaming. All right, so if you want to know, if you want to make sure you get updates, remember to subscribe. Remember to like the stream, remember to like the videos as you go through them, because you don't want to miss what I have planned for you all next week. Okay, so please remember to click the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. I know you're all very good with that. Yeah, it is exciting. I'm quite excited. It's gonna take a lot of my time. Massive amount of my time, but it's something I hope is going to be super beneficial for you all. So we'll be doing that. Yeah, click like, click subscribe. If you have any questions, put it into the chat, let me know. Yeah, with that said, talking about that, I just lost my train of thoughts. Hey Lindy, how are you doing? Yeah, so with that said, what am I doing? Okay, quick disclaimer. Any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. The contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to a financial product, so please remember that your objectives, financial situation and needs has not been considered. You should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. Okay? Hey, Diana, you just before, so Diana just put into the chat that Bitcoin has dropped quite a lot. Literally, why I was a bit late to start this stream is literally I was just doing a 3-minute and 33-second video on Bitcoin. Right after this session, I'll do a final edit on it and I'll publish it. So check it out on the channel as well. That's going to come up within the day. Okay, yeah, so it has dropped quite a bit. There are some opportunities present for Bitcoin. Okay, not yet, but I think coming up soon. What else was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. I'm super excited about next week. I'm so excited about next week. I even thought of starting it today or possibly tomorrow, but it might be out golfing tomorrow. So in the morning, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, if you have any questions, put it into the chat, let me know. If you're on the session, drop a message, say hi. Do remember to click the like and subscribe button. Now, looking into what has happened since the last time we spoke, before looking at the news, which we saw there, which we have there, before looking at the news, we saw the dollar index. We saw the dollar index pushing down. So we were right there as we spoke about it yesterday. It popped down. We said that it needs to break 105.70, which was that level, to trade lower to 105.40, which is right there. And below 105.40, you could trade down to 105.15. It came right there, hit that support, found some support, and bounced right back up, right? So that other thought that it might come here and push back up didn't happen. It just dropped like a rock and went from 105.70 yesterday afternoon all the way down to 105, as low as 105, almost 105.05. But it found that support and bounced, right? So it's played out exactly as we had kind of expected, or as we had written out on the analysis from yesterday. Again, if you're not on the sessions and if you're trading, you're missing out. So you have to be on the sessions. Now, why did it drop? Why did the dollar index go from that 105.70 down to 105.15, finding that support level there? Basically, as kind of expected, the ADP non-farm employment change for the US was not as high as we had expected, right? It came out, I thought 160, maybe even 170. It came out at 150, so it was even lower than we expected. I got a hint of it, right, or kind of did a guesstimate from this because of the JOLTS jobs openings that we saw on Tuesday or earlier in the week, or Tuesday. That's why we kind of guessed that ADP wasn't going to be fantastic. Unemployment claims for the US was pretty much flat as expected. That was a bit of a surprise, where we saw the ISM services PMI go from a 53.8, expected a slowdown, a slight slowdown, to 52.6. Those are all above 50, it's still in an expansionary phase. It got released at a 48.8. It got released at a 48.8, which is in the contractionary phase. Services PMI is the Purchasing Managers Index, contracting right now. Services industry contracting right now in the US, or previously, right, in the previous month. And that's why at 10 p.m. GMT plus 8, you see that. Zoom in a bit. You see that drop, right? It pushed down. Firstly, ADP at 8:15 p.m. GMT plus 8. So we saw that move down from 105.64, pushed down, continued lower. Services PMI pushed it even further to the downside, right? So it just went straight down. So those are the two main reasons. This one, ADP non-farm employment change, and the services PMI, were the two main reasons why we saw the dollar index drop like a rock to the support level. Then, with that, we also had the FOMC meeting minutes. I can tell you I was knocked out. I was smashed and totally so tired, so I didn't even catch the FOMC meeting minutes. But also because typically how I approach the meeting minutes is that it's happened already. They're just talking about the decision that they, or how they came about to that decision, a bit of a backroom view into how they came to that decision. So I don't usually pay too much attention to the meeting minutes. Again, with the meeting minutes, they're looking for more, and this is all in the press conference that they were talking about. They're looking for more evidence of cooling inflation. This was from the minutes, and that the Feds were not ready to cut rates until greater confidence that inflation is moving to its 2% goal. We heard that from the press conference, during the FOMC press conference. We heard that again this week from Chair Powell at the policy panel at the ECB, saying that, hey, we're happy to take our foot off and wait, not rush into a decision until they're very confident that they're going to hit their mandate of that 2% target level. So that's what's happened through today. I think that, unfortunately, today is going to be a little bit quiet. We might see some dollar weakness continue on, but it's going to be a little bit quiet because we have the US on a bank holiday. 4th of July, like how I started the session telling you all about. So it looks like it's going to be a little bit slower, a little bit quiet, but we just had the CPI data release for the Swiss. Was a 0.3, expected a 0.1, came out at a 0 flat. So inflation growth for the Swiss flat at 0. Didn't see too much in terms of the price movements, right? It did pop up, but we didn't see, it wasn't a huge move. If you look at that, it just went up about 30 pips, but it's still within that range. I didn't catch this move. This was something I thought was going to happen yesterday. Now that it's today, I didn't catch this move. But I think that because it's a month-to-month CPI number, the overall directional bias of the US Swiss franc is still going to be driven a bit by the dollar index. All right, but it's kind of moving. It's kind of moving to what we expected to come down, test the support level, and then bounce back up. Again, Swiss franc is not high on my list of the what's that called? Of the list to watch, right? The currency pairs to watch or to trade. Hey Augusto, how are you doing? Jimmy is asking, possible Japanese intervention. It's always possible. It's always possible, Jimmy. But whether they're going to do it today, I don't think so. Right? I don't think that the BOJ is going to sit there and say, all right, the US is on a holiday, let's try and intervene and buy it. And okay, usually when I say I don't think so, I might jinx it, but I don't think so. Because what has happened that we've seen them do a couple of interventions the last couple of months or this year, right? 1 or 2 interventions this year. It spiked down very briefly and then it went right back up over the next couple of days or week. Next time it came right back down and then pushed right back up again. You see, where was it? Those 2 times. Oops, keep that there. Those 2 times, once in April, again in May, it spiked down, went straight back up. It spiked down and then gradually went straight back up again. Okay, so I hope that the BOJ is taking on the approach where, just an intervention alone from their end might not work, right? Intervention alone might not work. They probably need to pair it up together with some volatility or some movements on the dollar, or for the dollar to weaken quite significantly. Then they're going to add fuel to the fire to bring it all back down again. So hopefully, but we can never rule out a Japanese intervention, a BOJ intervention. Okay. I just saw that I need to change that. Deborah, how are you doing? Good morning, how are you doing? Entry is still possible on gold. Okay, on gold, we'll look at that shortly towards the end of the session. Gold is last on the list, so we'll look at that shortly. Stay tuned for that. If you have any other pairs, let me know as well. Okay, so then we had that. So today we do have the parliamentary elections for the UK. Parliamentary elections for the UK, from what I've been reading, right? So we saw the French election over the weekend, and then that led to a push up on the euro, right? It led to a push, a bit of a gap, and then a push up on the euro to the upside. What I've been reading about the UK parliamentary elections, it almost looks like Labour is going to win, right? Almost a certainty. Where was it? We even have Prime Minister Rishi Sunak saying that he can stay, believes that he can stay in power. So it looks like it's almost a certainty that he's going to win, that the party is going to win. It's only about what kind of majority are they going to have in Parliament? Are they going to have? Is it going to be almost like the French, where they might win without a majority, leading to a hung parliament, or are they going to have majority and be able to push their policies through quite easily, right? Quite straightforwardly. That's the bigger question. And from what I've read, it seems like the anticipation on the parliamentary elections, almost regardless of the result, it looks like we're going to see weakness, or markets anticipating weakness on the pound, right? Anticipating weakness on the pound. So we will have to, I would probably look into that as well. But the way the dollar index is behaving is throwing a bit of a spanner to the works, because if the dollar does weaken, and if we do see the pound weaken, then it's gonna have that conflicting movements, because dollar weakening is going to try to push the pound dollar up, but yet if the pound weakens, then it's going to come back down. So it's just right at this level here, slightly higher from the level we highlighted yesterday, that I want to see a reaction to. Okay, so it's still at that point that we're going to look into it a little bit more. Then I'm not even too bothered about construction PMI at this point. Through that, tomorrow we have the average hourly earnings, the non-farm employment change, and the unemployment rate for the US. I was going to do a Zoom session with all our Discord members, live trading the non-farm. I don't think, unless we see a massive big change in the number, like a 150, like it's at 272 now, expected 194, unless we see like 140 or that kind of number, I don't think we're going to see a big change or big volatility in price, right? Also because it's 4th of July on Thursday, there might be a lot of markets, investors and traders off on Friday, leading into a long weekend. Bless you, right? Leading into a long weekend. So I'm anticipating that it might be a little bit quiet. Might be a little bit quiet if we don't see a major upset in the numbers. Okay, so we're not going to do a live trading session then, but we'll talk about this more tomorrow during the live stream. We can, for sure, we can do CAD, pound Swiss franc, or is it CAD pound? I think pound Swiss franc and CAD Swiss franc. I think Diana is asking for CAD Swiss and pound Swiss. Yep, okay, we can do that. Now, enough of me rambling on about the US FOMC meeting minutes, parliamentary elections, the 4th of July. Anyone in the US, take a picture of the fireworks, put it on the Discord channel, let me know. I love to see fireworks. With all that, now looking at the charts, dollar index. At this point, we don't need that. Take that away. KLE is asking for a live stream for the news. I'm actually off going. I'm actually not going to be trading the non-farm. Firstly, I don't think it's going to move too much. Secondly, I actually have an event to attend. That's why I'm not doing that as well. Okay, so no, can't do it this time around, sorry. Overall move, break that support. Next point will be down here. We've broken that, we don't need that anymore. 38.2 is done. 50 is sitting there, we don't need that. Okay, so we have those. We've cleaned up the chart a little bit. I figured out what I was, I was pressing lines everywhere yesterday. I figured out, don't press this. If you stay in drawing mode, just to share with you all, if you stay in drawing mode, every time you click, it comes up. Right, you have to right click to get rid of it, but if you don't have it in drawing mode, then it doesn't appear anymore. You just have it once. So that was what I was doing wrong yesterday with all the lines appearing everywhere. Okay, so I digress a lot today. Okay, now with that, if we look at this, like that. Okay. All right, I'm happy with that. Dollar index still showing that push. That's holding. That all makes sense. I'm happy. I'm going to just put it up to there. Okay. I'm trying to zoom it in. Okay. Right. There we have it. From this top down. Hey Stefan, how are you doing? We're checking this out. So all the way down, it's come up to about this point here. So it bounced up to 38.2 and it's held. Okay, I like that. Now it makes all there. Okay. So today being the 4th of July, Independence Day. Again, I digress, but whenever I say Independence Day, it only brings me back to the Will Smith movie of Independence Day. Does that happen to you guys as well, or is it just me? Okay, now, dollar index. If it holds 105, there's no major news apart from the holiday. It's no major news apart from the holiday. It looks like it's going to push back up and stay within this range, but might push back down a little bit. Yeah, pound's coming back down a little bit. So okay. Yeah, see, Richard thinks so too. All right, dollar index. I think that I liken this trend line that it might bounce. I wouldn't do anything on. I wouldn't be too keen unless it breaks below 105. Right? So sorry, I'm just thinking aloud right now. Bounce off. Okay. So dollar index is right now it could likely to consolidate between 105.15 and 105.45. 105.15 and 105.45. Right, so consolidate within this range. But what we're looking out for now that it's dropped, there are two possibilities. right? It's likely to consolidate within this range. I feel that we might see it bounce back up, but typically during a bit of a bank holiday, it does weaken down. So we're only looking that there is no bias. I mean, it's developing a bias right now. Like Ahmed said, US dollar is, if that trend line might support it up. I'm only looking to say if it breaks above 105.45, we could see it come back up to test that level. I'm only thinking of further downside if it breaks below that 105 level to head down towards 104.60 or 104.50, right? Because I have another line right there, bit of a level there. So in this area, I wouldn't be too speculative of where it could head towards, but we could see it, if it breaks above there, we could see it push up. So what does that mean? Looking at this, we see the pound dollar pushing down. Pound dollar is pushing down right now. Okay, we have below, I'll put this in first, below 105 could trade down to 104.60, break 105.45, could trade up to 105.90. I don't even think you'll get to 105. I don't see a reason why I get to 105.90 today. Likely consolidate below this point, could trade down to here. Above that, it could go up. I think that this will be the more likely scenario. Right, that it breaks 105.45 and trade up. But it's in that point you want to maintain a little bit of flexibility because it really could be either, right? It really could be either. I think that it might not go to 105.90. I think 105.70 would be fair. Yeah, about 105.70 would be a fair level to get to. I don't see massive moves for today. Ahmed is saying pound also still strong, may see a little bit of consolidation before a move up. Pound does have that straddle that we were talking about from yesterday. We'll get to that shortly. So that's sitting in the middle, okay. Then looking at the Kiwi, right? That was last night. That was last night where it pushed up, went up, came back down. Now sitting slightly positive. If you got onto that, I think you would have closed out much earlier. You can also see that that was way out of the Bollinger Band. That's why you would want to close out of that trade together with that point there, right, where it's hit and reverse from there. That's why you would also get out at that point. Now, with all that, what's happening? Hang on. Japan's Topics Index hits all-time high, closing above 1989 record. Okay, something might happen soon. We'll see. Okay, Kiwi dollar. Oh, retrace. That's fine. 50% is right there. 38.2. So it found. So we have this whole move down. It's found 38.2 right there. Don't need that for now. Take that away. Now looking at this, I would say that dollar strength, we could see this continue back down. Right, so what I would actually be looking for on this case would be if it breaks below that 38.2 level, I would be on dollar strength. Let's say if it breaks above that 105.45 level, we could see this trade down that 40 pips. So this is I'll change this to be my support level. So I'll be looking for that. So I want to see it test, reject, break below that low there, that 38.2. I would say that below 6.1, below 0.61. So 609, well, 61. We have a 20 pip stop loss. We have a 50 pip or 45 pip take profit. There we go. Now, hey Basanta, how are you doing? Now we're looking at this to sell 0.61 and stop loss 20, take profit 45 to the downside. This is on DXY strength. I'm going to put in the strength and weakness scenarios just because today it's just that borderline could break out in either direction. I don't have a major bias on the dollar index at this point. Then on the Aussie, I'll keep that. It's sitting in there, right? Sitting in that resistance area, which I've repeated this so many times. 61.8 resistance area. We've seen it reverse on the 16th of May. On the 20th of May, we saw it come very close on the 4th of June. Again on the 12th of June. And now that is pushed right into it, looking for that rejection to sell down. I'll keep that view to sell down as 0.67 with a 15 to a 75 to the downside. Okay, I'll keep that view. So it did trade higher. We did see that reaction, or we're looking for that reaction at the resistance. I'll be looking to sell at 0.67, stop loss 15. Actually, I want it at 20. I think 20 will be more reasonable. Take profit 75 to the downside. So how it looks like at 20, in fact, I want 30. I want it above that point. So I want it at 30 pips. 30, take profit 75 to the downside. Yeah, and you see it's very odd. We see the Aussie dollar pushing down right now, but yet we're seeing the dollar index push down as well. Right, we're seeing the Kiwi pushing down, but yet we're seeing at this point dollar index showing a little bit of weakness to push down. So it's being a bit tricky right now. So just be careful with that. I'm happy with that. Okay, then on to the US yen. We have a 30-minute triangle formation for breakout on the Kiwi. 30 minutes. That let me see. That one, and then that one. Well, like that, and then like that. Is that what you're talking about, Ahmed? Could break out to the upside. I mean, that's typically you're looking for it to break out. But you have that even on H1. You can also see that on H1. I'm actually thinking of that pushing down. I'll still keep to that downward push. It could break out, but I think we could see that downward push more likely. Okay, then on to, but thanks for spotting that, Ahmed. Then on to the US yen, take all that away. Support there. We don't actually have, that trend line doesn't work anymore. That trend line doesn't work anymore. I'm just thinking if I had, no. I'm just thinking of that channel and it's sitting right in the middle. I'm thinking of that, right? I've actually got rid of that sell order as well, so I deleted that. So I've got rid of that on my MT5. Not waiting for that sell right now because I'm thinking that it needs to be a little bit higher soon. So I'm looking at that on the dollar yen. I actually think that I don't like this channel. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't tell me anything. Okay, I actually think that the dollar yen is likely to consolidate in this range. Right, the dollar yen is likely to consolidate in this range with no major moves yet, unless we see, right, see, that's even just sitting right across. So no major moves yet unless we see a possible intervention or breakout on the dollar. Stay out of it for now. If you want to try and catch that possible intervention, the selling idea would be below 106.50. Right? You are giving away quite a bit, but you want to catch an intervention, not just a fluctuation. So you'd be like 106.40, stop loss would be 20 pips, and then take profit. I'll go a massive move to the downside because you are looking at that as a 200, 300 pip move to the downside. That's still reasonable for even if you break that support, right? You can still be looking at that point, and that's still a reasonable move for a intervention. 300 pips happen in a flash. May is head and shoulder, maybe down for a little bit. Yeah, actually, you are right. I think if you're talking about the dollar yen, how do I do this? If you're talking about the dollar yen, there is that up, down, up. So that bit of a head and shoulder, right? With the neckline right there. So if it does break down, it's going to break that neckline and push lower. So that might play out, but you can spot chart patterns, but I don't think chart patterns are the big price drivers, right? So dollar yen would still find a bit of a support at 161.10. So dollar yen ranging has a key support at 161.10 and 162. I think that dollar yen could range between 161.10 and 162. Okay, look at that dollar pushing down slightly, leading to that push down. We have another level at this point here. Okay, there. Then on to the pound. All right, pound, we have that straddle. So that is sitting right along that 50% level. I know it's been broken, but it's just a good relevant point to have. It came up to 61, failed to break higher, came and sitting between that 50 and 61% retracement level. But clear all that out for now. Remember, again, pound parliamentary elections happening today. It's sitting in that range. If it breaks up, if it pushes up, I don't need that as a resistance. I would consider that as a, let me just check. Okay, I'm happy with that as a resistance. And I'll take that one away as more as a dotted line. Okay, so now we're looking at that. Right, I'm happy. Okay, good. So now I'm looking at this as a range. You do have that straddle where you'll be looking, if we think that the pound dollar is going to get stronger, I actually think weaker, but if we think that we're going to see an upside move, 1.2780, stop loss will be 20 pips. Take profit could be almost 80 to the upside. If it breaks down from this area, then I would say 1.2725. Stop loss would be again 20 pips. Take profit will be down 105 or 100 to the downside. Okay, so not very dissimilar between the two. It's just in that range. And it could be either, I don't even need that, that doesn't make too much sense. In that range could be either, depending on that. I think that's fair. So you do have the straddle on pound, right? You could either be looking to buy at 1.2780, if I remember correctly, 8020 to 80. Stop loss 20, take profit 80, or sell at 1.2725, 20 to 100. 1.2725, stop loss 20, take profit 100. Right, so you got a pound straddle. There we go. Alrighty. Now with that, then onto the euro. My euro, so this was what happened to my euro trade. I got in there as the hour closed and it broke above my that 50 level. We had it yesterday. We said that we're looking to buy euro at 10790. 1.790. I got in at 1.7, just 90 there as it closed just nicely. It pushed up and then I moved that to break even and I turned off my computer. Just thought, I'll let it run and see what happens. Came back down, hit my stop loss, closed out at break even even after spread commissions. So didn't make money on the euro, although it moved. Okay, so that was my trade on the euro. I think that looking at the way it's pushing back up now, dollar pushing down, you would be looking at this to buy up. I would like to say 1.08. But it's very near and we have the previous swing level 1.0810. Your take profit shouldn't be just at 40 pips. I don't think that would be good. I think if at that point your stop loss would be about 25. Your take profit can go up to 80. So you do want to give it a little bit of time to push up first And I kind of like that. I like the way it's playing out. The move is developing, right? So it pushed up, retraced slightly, continuing to push back up. I'll keep that as 1.0810, stop loss 25, take profit 80. Okay, take profit 80. With a hesitation at 1.0850. That's what I'll be looking out for. Okay. Diana said on daily time frame, pound looks more bullish. As you said, due to election, it might go down. Yeah, pound is really at that point where it could do either. That's why we would have that straddle there as it sits in this little bit of a consolidation. We're looking for it to break out on either side. So as much if you went into that and that one, right? They were talking about, how it's worked after the elections. These are all a bit longer term. We see the pound dollar climbing 0.4 and 0.1%. We see volatility increasing on the pound in 2010, and it just dropped slightly 1 week after the election. So as much as they're anticipating a drop, all right, it's really right in there. I would say prepare for either scenario. Prepare for either scenario. It would work out. Okay. US Swiss franc, it popped up because I'll take that one away. It popped up because of the CPI data. It's pushing back down now because of the dollar weakening. It seems like it could have played out well, but at this point, it found 23. Trend line is right there. Doesn't really bother me on the trend line. And we have that point there as my support. Now, dollar index pushing down. Let's see that break. If that breaks, so again, okay, wait, again, that one is pound is parliamentary elections. US, we have this put to the upside, so it's on DXY weakness, right? I'll put that there, so I have to write it later. Weakness. While if the dollar does push down, then you could be looking at it breaking that support to the downside. You'll be looking at about 8989. Stop loss 30, take profit down to the 61 at 72 pips. I'll be happy with that. 8989, 30 to 70, let's put it. So US Swiss franc, I'll look to sell at 0.8989. Stop loss, well, 8990 actually. Stop loss 30, take profit 70. Let's not be funny. 0.8990 instead of 8989. And that's dollar weakness. Okay. 1 pip up. Yep. There we go. All right, then onto the US CAD. I did that one. I was very happy with that because it happened quickly, right? Those are the things that gets me more excited. Rather than I'm happy with taking profit. I'm happy with trades working out, but I like it when it happens quickly. US CAD close of the candle as it broke down from this level. broke through the level, close of the candle, got in within 1-2 hours, got my 40 pips, touched, right, exactly touched the take profit and bounced right back up, closed out at 40. So I was very happy with that. That was shared in the Discord channel with you guys as well. Then now with the way it is now, we were thinking that the dollar could bounce and push the US CAD back up at this point at 61.8 at a support level. I would actually consider that. I'll keep that view actually. I'll keep that view that the support level might hold. If we see dollar strength, that support level might hold. Because I think that even if it does break, it might come back up again. It's been April since it was trading below this area, or May. So I think that if it does break down, you might actually see something quite similar here. So I'm actually thinking that tomorrow is the news for CAD. What's the news tomorrow? Employment numbers. Look at that. Unemployment rate for the Canadians, 6.2 to 6.4. We do have tomorrow for it to play out. And if the weakness on the Canadian dollar comes around, we could see this push up. And that's why we drew that yesterday, anticipating that bounce, right, of the support that has held quite a long time. So actually, I'll keep that view where I'm actually thinking that 1.3645, stop loss of 35, take profit. I don't think you'll get to 91. Hang on. Take profit at this point of about 60 pips. 55 first, right? Look for that level first. And a nice round number at 1.37. So 1.3645, if it pushes up from here, if it does this, then I'll be quite happy to have my stop loss at about 25 there. All right, because I'm just thinking of that level as a swing. Okay, so 1.3645, 25 to 55 to the upside. 1.3645, 25 to 55 to the upside. This is on dollar strength. Okay. Alrighty, now we look at gold and we go into the we look into gold and we do the CAD Swiss, pound Swiss, and Kiwi, Aussie Kiwi. All right, gold push up, broke higher. We spoke about this yesterday. Breaking off the range above 23.45 could trade up to 23.55. Broke out of 23.45, went up to 23.55 and beyond, went as high as 23, almost 23.65, and came right back down again. Well, slightly. So at this point, if we have flat, that's there. I don't need that. That's done. I want to clear out some lines. I don't need that one. Okay, I'll keep that. I don't need that either. I'll consider that one there. All right, there we have it. What I think If the dollar does continue to push down, continue to weaken, then it's going to sit in there for now, but we want it to push up above 23.67 to get up to 23.90 or 23.87. That's relatively straightforward, I think. That's the only thing to look out for. 23.67 to 20. I would go 23.90, 23.70, 23.70 to 23.90. Okay, so gold, I'll be looking for it to break above 23.70, could trade up to 23.90. There we go. And then on to CAD Swiss. I have no lines on this. Hang on, let's clear out some of this. Now looking at this down. Broken 61. Big resistance up here. What am I doing? Big resistance up here. Interim level about here. 61. Actually, I would like that as a bit of a support. Now the question is, at this point, if when we spoke about the CAD and the Swiss franc, right? So anticipating that we have this trend line as well, holding it up. So we have the US CAD sitting there, maybe breaking through, maybe bouncing off. If we see it push through, we should see this push up. It's retracing now, I think mainly because of the US Swiss franc, pushing it back down a bit. So it's following that same pattern. I would say that you would be looking for it to come sit along that point or come down and test this support level before possibly bouncing back up again, especially if we do see the US CAD bouncing. All right, is well trying to push back up right now actually as we speak. If it doesn't retrace and push, then you'll be looking for it to break past that previous high and that relevant point with the next level at about there. So I'll break it up into parts and you look to trade it up that way. 6633 stop loss can be very tight for 20 pips, and then after that, beyond that, you go for the next resistance, or rather you can go for the resistance and with a hesitation at that point. Okay, so that's the CAD Swiss franc. Pound Swiss franc. Remember pound Swiss, we spoke about this yesterday, testing that point, looking for it to push back down, anticipating if the pound does weaken, we could see that happen. That's a 61.8 that is tested, pushing back down. I will keep this view. It looks a little bit unlikely because it's right in the middle there. But we're thinking if the pound dollar does weaken, then we could see the pound Swiss franc push back down. I like that. I actually think about that a bit more. I would like that more because, you know, we're anticipating maybe a push back down on the US Swiss franc, maybe pound dollar could push back down. It looks like it's pushing back up, but we're still in that range. So on the pound Swiss franc, we're looking for that. If it doesn't break down and it pushes up, then I'll look for that reaction up there first. It's not really a resistance level, but I look for a reaction up there. Okay, it's with the pound sitting in that range, in that bit of a consolidation with a breakout potential, it's quite tricky to try and guess where the other pound cross pairs could go. This one really, it could be that, or it could be that. Right now it's just bouncing in that area. We're looking for a breakout, or we're looking for a breakout that way. Okay. A bit vague on the pound Swiss. I think that it really comes down to what the pound dollar is going to do. CAD Swiss is looking for that bounce. Aussie Kiwi is pushing up. Has a level here. Has that point. I think that Aussie Kiwi is sitting in a bit of a consolidation, looking for it to push up. It needs in that, so it's going to push, slowly gravitate. All right, it's in that consolidation, slowly drag it up to that point. Then you look for a reaction, which could be to the downside. Right, then you look for that to test and push back down again. Okay. All right, so with that said, yeah, I think it's going to take a bit longer for that setup. With that said, please remember, if you haven't already, click that like and subscribe button. Join us on Discord. When the market starts moving, the chat keeps going, so we always have someone trading and looking at the markets. Join us on Discord. And click the like and subscribe button. I'll see you all tomorrow, same time, same place. Please trade well and trade safe. Take care now. Bye-bye.